Well, Notre Dame has long been the biggest prize in conference realignment, and the Fighting Irish just took a big step away from ever joining the Big Ten. Welcome into the channel. I am John Kurtz. Here on this channel, we talk conference realignment, college football, college basketball from a Big 12 angle all day, every day. Please consider subscribing if you have not. Live shows Wednesdays and Sundays. They are a great time. Please like the video, leave a comment, and you can support the channel on Venmo at John-Kurtz-4. Big deal here. Notre Dame has long been coveted by the Big Ten and everybody, by the way, in conference realignment. Obviously, tell that to the ACC. But the Fighting Irish have taken a big step toward being able to remain independent, and that is by getting a TV deal locked up with NBC. So I'm going to read to you here from a couple of different articles about this TV deal, one from The Athletic. Notre Dame and NBC announced that they have agreed to extend their media rights agreement, keeping the Fighting Irish football on the network through the 2029 season. NBC has aired Notre Dame's home football games since 1991. Their current agreement was due to expire after the 2024 season. So, Pac-12 wasn't the only entity looking to get a new TV deal after 2024, but this is a pretty big deal for Notre Dame. Their current deal only pays Notre Dame about $22 million per year. Obviously, they're doing the home games, so Notre Dame's getting money from the ACC for some of the other games, but $22 million not going to be enough to cut it to be close to the Big Ten and the SEC now, and obviously Notre Dame, rightfully so, fancies itself as a school that should be valued in the same way. Financial terms of the new deal were not disclosed, so we don't know yet exactly what those financial terms are going to be, but there will be more analysis on that from The Athletic in just a moment as to what this possibly could be and what Notre Dame was seeking in this deal. The deal will allow for select football games to stream exclusively on Peacock, NBC's subscription streaming service. Peacock has carried at least one Notre Dame football game for each of the last 3 seasons. Okay, so The Athletic analyzes here what this means for Notre Dame's independence. It says, simply put, Notre Dame cannot maintain its independence without an improved media rights contract with NBC, and now it appears to have one, as the sport shifts toward a Power 2 conference structure of the Big Ten and the SEC. I mean, obviously, the big draw there for Notre Dame would be TV contract money. If they felt like they were going to fall significantly behind their peers, which would be schools in the Big Ten and the SEC, that could be the impetus to go ahead and join a conference. That's been the driving force for everything, right? Like Florida State feels like it's on a peer level with all the schools in the SEC and the Big Ten. They feel like they're not getting nearly enough TV money from the ACC and pointed out in that Board of Regents meeting and many times how well they draw on TV and why they should be making more money. Thus, they want to leave and join another conference. That was always going to be one of the things for Notre Dame. They want to stay independent if they can, but would anything ever force them to get out of that? And falling financially behind would be certainly one of those things. So here's what Notre Dame wanted. Notre Dame wanted its media rights revenue to be within striking distance of those leagues, with a $10 to $15 million gap viewed internally as a workable number. So if you think about this, SEC, Big Ten getting to like 60 to 70 million per school per year. Notre Dame wants to be within 10 to 15 million dollars of that. So I would think like at minimum, Notre Dame's overall TV money that is coming in would need to be around the $50 million mark, but probably a little bit more than that too. And keep in mind, they made $17 million from the ACC this past year, but I'll get to more of that in just a moment. So you can almost subtract that from the number here. So now we're looking at maybe like 40-ish, 35, 40, up from that 22 from NBC here. Neither Notre Dame nor NBC have disclosed the payout of this contract in the past, but for Notre Dame to come close enough to college football's 2 power leagues, the Irish would need NBC to push toward the $50 million range annually. When that money is paired with the revenue generated from the ACC, Notre Dame made $17 million from the league during its most recent tax filing. It creates a path toward financial competitiveness with the top 2 leagues in the FBS. So there you go. I'll be honest, I had not totally read through that before. I just read it right now. I gave you the analysis all off the top of my dome, folks. But basically, they're saying the same thing. They're around $50 million. You would think basically that TV number is going to double from NBC here. If it was at 22 before, about double, and then you throw on top of it the ACC money, that's how Notre Dame forges their path to be competitive financially with the SEC and the Big Ten. Now, even if you're not all the way there, obviously for a school like Notre Dame, there are ways to remain competitive with your NIL game and donors and all of that. There are ways to bridge that gap, and that's why I think it was viewed that way. Hey, if we can at least be close in the ballpark, our independence is worth it to maintain that, even if we're going to be a little bit short money-wise from some of our peers. There is a value to the independence there clearly for Notre Dame. The article finishes by saying, as Notre Dame pushes for a new football facility, in addition to the current structure, financial backing is paramount to keeping independence a viable path in the college football playoff era. And look, with 5 auto bids now, looking like the college football playoff is going to be 5 auto bids, removing the Pac-12 or Pac-2, if you've been paying attention to the videos lately here on the channel. 5 auto bids, 7 then at-large spots. Like, Notre Dame will be fine in that sort of world in the college football playoff. They have nothing to worry about with the playoff. It looks like now financially they're going to be made whole enough by NBC, their big partner here, and tons of exposure to basically remain independent. So I would just say that what we're getting out of this is that any hope that somebody had about Notre Dame eventually joining the Big Ten, if you're rooting for total chaos, if Notre Dame were to decide to join a conference, and what does that do to the rest of the realignment landscape, does not appear like that is going to come to fruition for you. This actually, I know this story passed relatively quietly within the last week when it came out, but I do think that this is pretty significant in the college football realignment landscape, because this is one of the few things that have been mentioned could be something that got Notre Dame to move that now seemingly has been shored up by the Irish. There is one quote from Jack Swarbrick, who is Notre Dame's athletic director, to finish things off here. If you had any doubts about this, if you just needed a little bit of an extra nudge that this is probably going to keep Notre Dame independent, Jack Swarbrick says, quote, "It helps ensure our independence, and that is so important to us." That is a quote from the Athletic, Notre Dame athletic director, Jack Swarbrick. So agree or disagree, I mean, you could still make your case as to why joining a conference would be best for Notre Dame. I really think Notre Dame probably is in the right, as snooty as it may be, to maintain the independence here. Like, why move if you don't have to? If that is something you do value, I probably would not do it if I were them either. And if you're somebody that just wants things to smooth out and calm down a little bit on the realignment front in college football, at least for a little while, I would say this actually seems to be good news, because Notre Dame is one of those giant tectonic shifts that could happen in the college football realignment landscape. And if that were to happen, say they were going to go to the Big Ten, does the SEC then need to make some move to respond in kind? I don't know exactly what that would be. But that could be something that really shakes things up. And of course, then Notre Dame's ties to the ACC too, with how unstable the ACC feels right now. That is something that could be very significant. So there you have it. Notre Dame and the Big Ten not looking like a marriage that is going to happen. Please do, again, consider subscribing to this channel. We're talking conference realignment, college football, college basketball, all day, every day here on the channel. And we do it from a Big 12 slant, but there is plenty of national coverage here too. Lots of fun on the live shows, Wednesdays and Sundays. A lot of people in there, very lively, very fun. And you can obviously be a part of that if you join. Please like the video, leave a comment underneath the video, whether you love me, hate me, agree, disagree, all of that stuff is welcome. I'm here for all of your takes about the Notre Dame situation. And you can support the channel on Venmo at John-Kurtz-4 if you are so inclined. I appreciate all of you who do support the channel. So with that, I bid you adieu. Thank you. Appreciate you. And I will talk to you all soon.